Alright, we're getting down to business. It's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm Brittany. This is Mommy Vapes. Today we're here to talk about variable voltage, variable wattage mods. I seem so intense because it's like the 8th time I've had to film this sucker. Alright, so first, real quick, we're going to do a side-by-side comparison of the Ego and the Vamo V5. These are the only two devices I have, aside from the thanks dog for shaking your ear in range of my camera. I have two of these. I have one of these. These are the only devices I own, so I can only discuss the differences between the two and variable voltage, variable wattage mods as I understand them. So, before we put this away, I'm just going to give it a taste. That's some homemade goodness right there. Okay. I still love that thing. I still use it. It still vapes great. It's just easier for on the go, maybe a quick flavor change up for the day, and it sits next to my nightstand. So, let's talk mod. Now, why would I want to upgrade since my EVOD still works great? Well, I think this whole lifestyle is going to very quickly, has quickly become more of a lifestyle for me and my husband instead of just, let's get off the cigarettes. So we want to upgrade, we want to learn a little bit more about what's what. We chose the variable wattage, variable voltage, just to kind of have that personalized vape, you know what I mean? If you don't know what I mean, that's okay. As I understand, this is all as I understand it, not a fact, just my interpretation on the mod world. The variable voltage, variable wattage type mods allow you to fully customize your vape in the sense that as you crank up those volts and crank up those watts, you're increasing the heat that goes to your coils, thus increasing the flavor of your vapor, thus increasing the flavor of your e-liquid. So even though the EVOD tastes great, I love it, I wanted to see what else was out there. If I could find my, as I've heard it mentioned many times, sweet spot, air quotes. I actually hate air quotes, but sweet spot, you have to do it. Okay, so basically, before you get started with a variable voltage, variable wattage, you really need to know the limitations of your coil. If you're using a tank, as you know, that's all I use. I'm not getting into mech mods yet. I'm not getting into rebuildable drip atomizers, so we're not even going to go there, not even going to talk about those. But the replaceable coils you get in your tanks, you really need to know their limitations before you start messing with your voltage and wattage settings. Because I will tell you, the first time we plopped a brand new coil into an Aspire tank, set it on a Vamo, fired it up, boom! You just immediately tasted that burnt ass coil. And that is the worst. That is the worst flavor. It's not even a flavor, it's just the worst taste. You cannot get over it. Your tank will forever, not forever, the coil will forever taste like ass. So, know your limitations. I happen to, the Aspire Nautilus coils are great. They tell you right on the coil what voltage you want to be in between to run them. So, I believe the one I have in there now cannot go up over 5 volts. I'm still a little unclear as to how volts translate to wattage and wattage translates to volts. I know they're two different things. I happen to keep mine in wattage mode just so I don't even go messing with volts. I prefer mine currently at a 7.5 watt. Let's see how she does. I've even carried this sucker up to like 8.5, which tastes great. But if I pull off of it more than just a couple times in a row, then it starts to get that burny taste. So I lay off until it cools some so I don't. Let's take it up to 8 watts. So delish. Got my pirate juice in this bad boy. So, just for my preference, I keep it in wattage. I think this particular mod, the Vamo, goes up to 15 watts or 6 volts. I kind of just keep it in that mid-range 7.5 to 8.5 watts. So it does the rest for me. Basically, as I understand it, if you're in wattage mode, your volts will automatically keep up, calculate, whatever. Your volts are automatic if you're in wattage mode. However, if you're in voltage mode, you lose kind of that wattage setting, I think. I mean, it's kind of how I'm understanding it. Volt mode is more manual. Wattage mode is a little bit more automatic, like autopilot, kind of. I think. That's just how I understand it, like I said. Okay, so what else? Battery. Wanted to talk about the battery a little bit. I originally wanted to get a box mod instead of this. This has a rechargeable battery that you pop out. You stick in a battery charger. It's a rechargeable battery in here. I didn't really think I was too big on that concept. I wanted something like my cell phone I could just plug into the wall and recharge, and it took all the guesswork out of it. So I think in the future I will look at a mod that has an internal battery. But so far I'm liking this. I mean, I'm really surprised at how simple it is, how easy it is. If you get your hands on some good batteries and a good charger, I mean, there's really nothing to worry about. So that's kind of all I have to say about the unit itself. Performance, I definitely prefer the Vamo with not even necessarily the Aspire Nautilus. I mean, this is the only adjustable airflow tank I own, but I do feel like on a mod, variable voltage, variable wattage mod, you do get more benefit with an adjustable airflow tank. And basically what that means is, I hate doing camera up closes. So as I pull off of this, I can adjust my airflow to be wide open if I really want an airy draw, or I can put it like there's 4 options. I could put it on the very tiny, teeniest little hole if I really, really want to taste that e-liquid. And that feels a lot more like drawing off of a real tight cigarette. Even like the second air hole, it's a pretty tight kind of cigarette feel to it. And the tighter the draw, the more flavor you get out of your liquid as well. So if we just open this right on up, automatically it makes me just want to take a full lung hit. Basically, instead of filling my mouth with the vapor and then inhaling it, I just put this to my mouth and just take it straight into my lungs. Of course, you get bigger vapor that way, but that makes me a little lightheaded if I do that too many times in a row. So that's just my opinions. You know, this does fit the basic. I say basic all the time. Jesus, lady. And I call myself lady. I'm just having a very odd, strange day. Alright, for the sake of show and tell, I'm going to take my charm off. So this will fit my EVOD tank. Basically, I'm limited to what this tank can do. Of course, I can change the voltage and the wattage. Let's take it down to 7 watts and see. It still vapes great. I just lose that customization of, do I want a tighter draw, more flavorful draw, or do I want to open that bad boy right on up? So, I also say bad boy a lot too. Wow, YouTube is teaching me so much about myself. And just to me, this looks a little meh. It looks kind of funny, so I don't actually prefer the EVOD tank on the Vamo. Another thing with this tank, anyway, this style tank, you have to take this kind of ring off, because if I try and take my tank off with this still on, it ends up unscrewing the tank from the base, and then juice flies everywhere. So I have to do that so I can grab the base and untwist. It's just kind of a hassle, you know, kind of a pain. So, now I'm twisting things back together, and this video is super long. Alright. I'm not a professional singer. I don't care to be. Laugh at me all you want. That's as smooth as driving a Cadillac. Doesn't get any better than that. So that's my thoughts, kind of my explanation on variable wattage, variable voltage. I don't know if I covered everything, but I gotta go. It's getting late, and this video is just dragging on. So thank you for watching. I might be back this weekend with a video, but I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but you'll like it. So have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And if you have any questions for me, leave them below. Thanks.